So we have all the ingredients ready and we're ready to make the ceremonial cacao drink. So first thing we need to do is cut up the block of cacao. You don't need to use a lot of force. I prefer to use wooden cutting board so that we don't have any like micro shavings of plastics ending up in our cacao. And then I'm just gonna like rock the knife along the edge of the cacao block, and you can see when just put a little, just tiny force into it, and it starts breaking off into these shavings. This doesn't have to be precise or accurate because we'll be using blender method, and blender is going to break up all these individual lumps into nice and smooth consistency. Yes, so it's important not to have too much cacao when you're using the blender method because we need to allow for plenty of water and all the other ingredients, including the sweetener. Sweetener takes up a lot of room as well. So I cut up half the pound of the cacao, and now I'm going to move it to the blender. First of all, we want to add vanilla. So for half a pound of cacao, we can add 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla. You can't go wrong if you add 2, so I'm adding 2. 1 pinch, 1 shake of cayenne pepper, that's all it needs. For cardamom, that's optional. I like the flavor of cardamom, and we're gonna use about a quarter of a teaspoon. This is all there is, so we use it that all. Next, we're gonna use generous pouring of cinnamon. Let's have, there's like heaped tablespoon. We can actually use 2 tablespoons. And that's a lot of cinnamon, but it can take it because it's a half a pound of cacao. And lastly, we're gonna add sugar. So I have a half a cup of sugar, and you may need to taste it and adjust it depending on which sugar you're using. They're all of different sweetness levels. So we are going to add water, blend it, taste it, and adjust the ingredients. We might need a little more, but let's start there because it's always easy to add water to get the desired consistency rather than making it too thin. So we kind of like it not too thin. We like it creamy and a little on the thicker side. You don't want it to be a pudding necessarily because it needs to be drinkable, but I recommend starting with less water first. Okay, let's blend it. We love to use Vitamix for our cacao because of the beautiful consistency that is created with this high-speed blade. The beauty of Vitamix is that it also heats up the liquid as it's breaking it down. So all these chunks that are in there will be broken down to nice, creamy, smooth texture. So there are no lumps, and it also simultaneously heats it up. There is an alternative method you could use with a pot, and you can use immersion blender. We found this method to be really simple to work with and fast. So if you want to make your ceremonial cacao and you have a Vitamix, this is a go-to tool. If not, you can use other blender. Alternatively, you can use a blender with lower speed and add hot water. Okay, don't add boiling water, but hot water. So when I start blending this, I like to go with lower speed first, just to break up the chunks. Then I'm going to increase the speed to initiate the heating process. See if it tastes right. Yeah, I think there is plenty of sweetener. We just need to run it a little longer to facilitate further heating and frothing. This is going to be tasting like a dessert. Beautiful. And that's it. We're ready to taste it. Let's see how it came out. There we go.
Good. Looks yummy. So we like to, before we drink the cacao, we like to, put our intentions, say a little prayer for ourselves, bless this cacao with the energy of our heart, thank this sacred medicine for existing on the planet and helping us to open our hearts, and just having this medicine infuse us with more love.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And so it is. So it is.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Divine.
So good.
This
so
is a
good.
dessert.
Oh my god,
This is a liquid
so
dessert.
Good. When you do your morning cacao ritual, it's like close your eyes and just savor every sip.
Beautiful.
So yummy.